On. We're gonna go live for a little bit here, and what I want to do, I penciled it in loosely, is I'm gonna go over in this little sweet sketchbook here. I'm gonna go over how to draw Shin Godzilla, and I'm gonna go through it. See a little baby sketchbook. Go across the page here, and I'm gonna talk my way through it, and hopefully you'll learn as we go along, right? As I'm drawing this. For now, there's nothing on the page, but let's kind of jump into it. The reason I picked Shin Godzilla is because Shin Godzilla is, I think, incredibly versatile and relatively easy to draw, right? Because there is so much leeway. He's full of crumbly, gooey, right? His skin texture is all texture. So it can be really forgiving when you're doing stuff, right? And if you're like, oh, okay, like you have to be exact with stuff. Using a brush pen this time. I kind of noticed, I still use this, of course, it's still my favorite sketching pen, but I noticed that I kind of, needed to be able to put down large, dark shapes really quick, and I'm going to have to incorporate the brush back and forth. It just depends, right? Obviously, if I'm doing tech, I don't really need to do a whole lot of like large, dark shapes. You can, but right now it's going to look like nothing. I'm going into the eye right here really fast for Shin Godzilla. And I'm going to try to think of like a concept in drawing that was really helpful for me that I think will help other people. I'm going to talk a little bit about the gradual progression of kind of getting better and how that kind of sneaks up on you. So like, I always say this, right? I've said this a bunch of times. I started learning, to draw. Thank you for the likes, by the way. I appreciate that. I started learning how to draw when I was 19 years old. Or 18, I think. I can't remember if it was like 18 or 19, one of those. But I started learning, and I got pretty good pretty quick, honestly. And I didn't notice I got pretty good pretty quick until I went back to junior college. And then when I went back to junior college from like the little art school I was at, I went to junior college where everybody kind of just does art as a hobby. I noticed I was kind of like better, than a lot of people at just certain things. And I was like, oh man, I didn't know that, it was kind of confusing. And, that progression creeps up on you quite a bit. As far as that progression goes, I would say within the first 2 years, I was good enough to kind of work like a simple job. Like I ended up working at SeaWorld doing caricatures because all you really needed to do was draw from life, right? Which is kind of what I was doing, was drawing from life a lot. And I was good enough for that. So that was good enough. But all I really knew how to do was draw the figure and draw, people's faces pretty relatively good. I progressed again. I want to say I quit art for like a year there. And I want to say I started getting, when I came back to art a year later, maybe this is like year 4, I can't remember. I took another jump in drawing. Like my faces were not as stiff when I was drawing them. A lot of the figures weren't as stiff. They were like technically, because before that they were technically pretty good, but they were still kind of stiff. And I came back and my teacher from before, his name was Ron, he was like, "Yo, like you got better. I don't know what you've been doing, but keep doing it." And I was like, "I haven't done anything." I literally hadn't done a single thing. So I guess what happened was I maybe didn't put any pressure on myself, and I let all the information that I had learned kind of gel, in my mind since then. And that was kind of a big deal. Then I took another jump with just design when I went to Art Center, and that was like year 8 or something. That was way later. I remember thinking like, oh, I can design, I can draw more linearly, and I can design stuff, and I enjoy the design part of it more. And then that was around there. So those are the big jumps, right? Everything is gradual and slow, and you don't really realize you're changing until you look back. That's why you should always, 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 always save your sketchbook. Because without your old sketchbooks and stuff like that, some people like throw away their old drawings and stuff. I'm like, that's a terrible idea, because you will have no idea how you progressed. Because sometimes you'll do a drawing in an old sketchbook and an old drawing pad or an old piece of paper, and you're kind of like, oh wow, that was really good, right? And then you look back on it later and like, ew, that doesn't look that good, right? And I think a lot of that is due to your eye and your hand progress at different rates. So, for example, your ability to see your mistakes, that skill, whatever you call it, grows or progresses or improves faster than your ability to actually fix it. And so you have this weird kind of, I don't know what you call it. Is it a paradox? I don't know if it is. But basically, you have this situation where you're getting better, but you're perceiving yourself as getting worse. And then you're stuck in this bizarre little, reality there for a little bit. And it screws you up. And it actually makes some people quit. But if you go back to an old drawing, though, if you save your old drawings, you'll look back and go, oh, okay, wait a second, I am getting better. If that'll give you wings, right? That'll kind of go like, oh, wait, I am doing all right, and it'll kind of, prevent you from quitting or prevent you from stopping or prevent you from, it'll give you motivation because you actually see the progress if you go back to those old drawings. So that's why I would say save your old drawings. Like I said, it really creeps up on you slowly. And it's so gradual sometimes that you really won't notice. I was going to say, usually the little notches and upgrades I've noticed, other than those big steps I had mentioned for me, was sometimes I'll just draw the same thing, but I'll draw it faster. Where I'm like, oh yeah, I used to struggle and plan this out and blah, blah, blah. And now I can just draw this, off the cuff. That can be something as well. Or you can kind of go, okay, now I can kind of teach myself and, autocorrect certain things that I wasn't able to do before, So just you're gonna have to be patient with yourself. I just feel like I see so many people quit. I see people. I have friends who are just art, hobbyists, and they'll draw maybe like once every 2 years or something, and they're pretty dang good. Some are pretty dang good. Some never progress, right? Because they don't practice it. But you want to be kind of aware of any of that stuff so that you can mitigate that. Okay, so it's gonna be Shin Godzilla, and what am I doing here? Sorry, I'm like blocking it's gonna be a lot of blocking this out of the way. He's gonna have his jaw wide open because I want him to be shooting that weird ray he had in that movie in Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla is probably my favorite Godzilla design. I love it so much. It's got a lot of what do you call it? Like zombie-like attributes, that craggly kind of stuff going on. It's got so many cool attributes at the same time as it's still Godzilla, So it's like, wow, best of both worlds. I want to put in this skin, when he opens his mouth. I still haven't figured out the name to this. I'm not even really sure if it has a name. It's kind of that skin that reptiles have on the side of their mouth. All right. Let's go over here. We're going downward. I've been kind of looking at my art goals and what I want to do myself. And I think I want to become kind of like Peter Han or, Kim Jong-gi was like amazing. Of course, that's like the most amazing. But, like maybe like that where you can kind of, and I don't mean like, exactly like that because I don't know if I could make it there. We'll see. But I want to be able to draw other stuff like vehicles and stuff out of my head better. I'm gonna probably pivot and draw more costume design soon, stuff like that. That's on the list. And then I want to be able to draw vehicle design a little bit better, because I never draw vehicles. And maybe kind of look into web and really upgrade my skills in other areas as well. Right now I'm trying to work on my color. Thank you so much for Fredo for the tiny dinosaurs. Oh my god, thank you. Wow, I love it. Wow, dang, that's amazing, man. Oh my god, thank you. Go follow that guy, guys. That guy's amazing. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, they had yeah, so yeah, like I'm trying to work on like everything, the idea is, and this is the loose idea in the beginning when you start this, and it never goes as smooth as you think, but the loose idea is you start off wanting to do this, and you start off with like, make a list of your weaknesses, and then try to improve on them slowly. And then the answer, literally the thing that everybody says to me when they're a beginner, they're like, But everything is a weakness, everything they have is a weakness because they're a beginner. Thank you so much, Fredo, again. Oh my god. Wow. Oh my god, thank you, Fredo. Follow Fredo, guys. Follow that guy. But what I was gonna say was, yeah, when you write down your weaknesses, well, first off, you gotta start like drawing whatever you want, whatever you like, right? Just get your hand moving, right? Get the mileage in. Okay, his mouth is open, but I want to see some of the back of the mouth over here. So I'm gonna have some of the back of the mouth. And so I want to see some of the back of the mouth over here. So I'm gonna have some of the back of the mouth. And so you start beginner, like intermediate. I would say a slightly not beginner. You can start writing your weakest points or what you want to work on, like what you want to get up to proficiency. So if you want to draw like maybe head drawings, right, to proficiency, right? That's what everybody starts out with. You maybe start out kind of doing that, and you get to a point where I wouldn't say you get to a point where you're satisfied, but you get to the point where you've memorized all the rules of drawing. You draw a lot of heads, and you're kind of like, maybe you spent several months or whatever the heck on it, maybe years, and you're like, you know what? I'm done drawing heads, or not done, but like I draw a bunch of heads, and you can get a decent head, with reference or whatever, depending on your goal. And then you should move on to be like, you know what? Let me draw backgrounds, or trees, or foliage, right, like that, or animals, right? And then you do that as well on the side, and it's kind of like these little, how do you say, these little bars on a video game, right? Like your stats. And then, you're still going to work on your head drawings on the side because you enjoy it, but then you switch gears a little bit and try to, dedicate some of your time to, drawing vehicles or drawing, whatever it is that you pick. And you kind of do that with everything forever. Or you become really, really specialized at one thing, which can be really rewarding as well. You could do only backgrounds, because backgrounds it's a gigantic field, right? There's so much variety in backgrounds. Also, I feel like a lot of people don't do backgrounds. So I remember I don't know if it's still like this, but in concept design for background design, like I knew some of the people at my school that went into background design because nobody went into background design. Everybody wants to do like characters, right? That's like the main thing. And there was way less competition for background design, and they said they almost always got jobs because they were good, and they pushed into this other thing that is not anywhere close to as competitive. All right, let's go over here, and I want to draw like a little. I could put it afterward, but you put little dots here of stuff because to make it look like it's moving around. So we're starting to get there, right? We're getting there with the head over here with Godzilla's head. He's got little spikes all over his back. In the Shin Godzilla form, he's got like these, they look kind of like ninja stars or something. That's kind of what I think, or like spiky leaves. But I'm just going to put them in here and not think too hard about them as well. Just kind of being chill about it. By the way, I kind of talked about this, and I talked about this a while ago. I think I talked about this a year ago, but I had never seen a Bob Ross, episode up until like a year or two ago. And I loved it. I was like, whoa, like I love this. It's so relaxing. It truly is like ASMR kind of stuff, right? Like the Bob Ross thing. It's like amazing. I could not believe how much I liked it. I was like so wowed by it. Okay, so since we got the brush now, see, the benefit is I can throw some bigger darks. Boom, boom, boom. See how fast that is? Boom, boom. The hard part is you got to keep with a brush like this. If you push too hard, you can really just leave gigantic blotches in it. So you're gonna have to be like careful. But see, I can throw giant blotches in it now when I need it. Big shadowy shapes. There we go. Right on. Just pull that big old line that he has on the side of his neck. There we go. He's got this huge. There we go. He's got that big old rip where it looks like you can see his gills or something like that, or it looks like a rip, but I think it's just his gills, right? Nobody knows what that is, but he's got this really cool design down the side of his neck over here, and it really makes him feel like a. Somebody said like design like an Attack on Titan mixed with Godzilla, but this is basically what that is. Like that's literally what I think Shin Godzilla is he kind of reminds me of like the Attack on Titan because he's got a little bit of his musculature showing. So you say it. Okay, he's got this gooey part to his mouth when he opens his mouth, and it looks all gross. It looks like I don't know, like a reef under the sea here. So I don't know how I'm going to indicate that. There's a lot of different ways you can indicate it. What else is going on? But yeah, learning, right? Learning. You make that list, and sometimes you lose track of it, right? And then years down the line, you pick up that list again, and you're like, you know what? Oh yeah, I got to work on this. Like me, right? I don't know enough. I've only drawn like 2 vehicles in my whole life, maybe. I got to work on vehicles. That's on my list. Costume design, I'm okay at it, but I'm more it's weird. You get to a point as well, like where you're like, I'm confident I can learn that now. That's kind of the way it is, where my interest lies in the fact that I'm like, you know what? I think I do costume design now. Before I did do it, and I was forcing it pretty hard, and I got okay designs, for costumes, for character designs and stuff. But now I think I'm a better artist, and I think I enjoy studying more as well. You got to kind of enjoy studying. Be careful with the smudging, although it dries really quick. So let me throw some more dark here around the eye. That's a big deal there with the old Shin Godzilla. He's got that big brow to make him look menacing. So he's got a lot of dark shadow around his eye. Cool though. I got to use this brush more, so hopefully I'll use this maybe more often. I'm not going to use this for tech. I mean, I guess I could use it for like some small tech. I know some people do, but I love using the other one for tech. Oh my gosh. I'm in love with that other pen for tech. Another side project I'm working on. I mean, I was working on a comic, and I was doing that with a big group of people. It was an anthology. I did one last year, and it came out, went pretty well. And I did another one, and the due date was like this weekend, so I did that. That was cool. All that went great. But with a comic, when I was doing it, I kind of noticed I was not that good at coloring. And I don't mean like, painterly color or stuff like that. I just mean like the skill of coloring like a comic. So I've been working on that lately. I've been doodling just random stuff on my iPad to like, just for the purposes of coloring and fooling around with color more. So that's kind of that's probably the next immediate thing. I mean, that and outfits. Outfits will be the drawing. But then I'd like to kind of like, again, get back to that whole thing with, with the other thing I was talking about. I think that'd be a good idea with the color. I think that will help for the comic next year, because I'm going to do another like it's just like a short story anthology. And I'll link it on here. I'll put the link later on. It's not up yet. It's a Kickstarter. It's basically, the group has done like 7 or 8 Kickstarters, and they all made it. They all did well, including the one I was in. So I'm not really worried about it passing the goal or anything. The goal's usually modest. But yeah, I was just trying to get a better effect out of it, when you're using tools. It's also the first time I ever used Krita. If anybody's used Krita before, anybody who uses digital painting, anybody? I've never used Krita in my life, and I always heard about it. Krita is amazing. It is like 90% to Photoshop, because I was kind of getting rid of Photoshop the last bit here. And but Krita is amazing. It's basically 100% free, and it's like has like 90% functionality of like something like Photoshop. So it's like amazing. And you have to get that. If you toy with digital painting or anything of that at all, get Krita. Krita is totally free. I didn't realize that it was that good. The one thing that Krita is terrible at, and I actually kind of lost my mind on it lately, is their text. So if I was trying to do letters real quick with text, it's horrendously bad. I don't know why Krita is so bad with text. Yeah, that's a shame. It's so bad with text. To be honest, it's so bad with text, it's beyond frustrating, because the rest of it is so good. All right, let's see. Let's do the little what would he shoot out? Fire. I forgot his ray looked a little bit more like Let me just kind of put in a little bit of the ray over here. How would I represent that in something like this maybe? And then over here, because I remember it looked like it was floating out in front of him. It didn't look like it was coming out of him, I think. Well, sometimes it did, right? But there's also this weird little ray thing that he did that looked like it was like in front. It was almost like hovering in front of him. It was crazy. Something like that. Let's gonna do that. I can toy with that. Maybe like over here. So I'm putting my hand right is blurring the thing there, blurring the image. And just throwing a couple little dots of stuff, not too much, always helps, right? It always makes it look like it's moving around, like he's chucking stuff out there. All right. And then, okay, let's go into his mouth a little bit more. I see some dark here below the neck. I think there needs to be some over here concentrated around his mouth-ish, at least. Doesn't mean it has to be like a totally dark shape, but I want this like gooey, gross, I don't know, inner mouth stuff looking a little bit, just a little bit more filled out there. Maybe I want to compile the darks kind of where they touch the mouth over here. Yeah. Maybe around here to kind of, because you're also creating like a map for a person to look at. Sorry about that, it blurred it again. All right. You're also creating a little bit of a visual map that someone's going to take a look at. So this is the start of this drawing here. I'm going to probably, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue the page and fill it out, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. I just kind of came on here for a little bit. Do you sell these? I don't sell these right now, but I will soon, and I'll let you guys know. I will sell, like, I don't know if I'm going to sell the originals, because, I mean, it is my sketchbook, but, I mean, I kind of cherish some things, but, yeah, I'll definitely sell some stuff, for sure. I want to put prints out there again, but, you know, soon. But don't worry, you'll hear about it. Just follow the page, and I'll make more announcements. I just feel like there's one project after the next right now with that comic, and then this, I think they had to do a couple of other things, and then, like, I am, what's it called? You know, some graphic design work that I do, some other stuff. It just feels like life is getting to me right now. But don't worry. I mean, one of the things I'm doing is trying to fix my website and create I'm working on a program for drawing to teach everybody to draw from their memory and stuff like that. I'm still working on that program. I'm going to try to finish that within like 2 months. That's going to be my next big project. But yeah, I'll get there. And then one is to fix my website. Anyways, I got to go, guys. It's pretty late over here, but I'll come back on tomorrow and I'll finish this and I'll show you the whole thing. So